What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. I'm, of course, one half of the podcast. I got my other guy with me, Thaddeus Bill. How you doing today, man?
What's good, man? Thursday, the start of another NFL week. I'm glad to be on and glad to talk some ball with you.
Of course. Like you said, we weren't able to get on week one. Of course, we got to talk a little bit about week one. Of course, my Gators have a big game this week, so we're gonna get into that as well. Then we don't really want to talk about it. We will though, just because it's Thursday night football. We're glad NFL is back in the NFC East, or at least is playing tonight. We know we got some guys in Off the Ball Network that's pretty invested in that. So we'll try to preview that real quick and then get on our NFL pick'ems of the week as well. But I guess I just want to start off with week one because it was a crazy week for both. I guess if you want to talk about your Jaguars, you can. I think I'm gonna skip out on my Falcons. I didn't really like what I see from them this past week. Don't think I'll see much improvement this upcoming week, but like I said, just week one thoughts, and then we'll get into probably biggest winners and biggest losers for the week.
It's week one in the NFL. A lot of people are always wrong, including myself. The predictions we do, the thoughts we have coming into the season, there's always a team that's more prepared than we think, a team that surprises people, and there was a lot of that on Sunday. Just a surprise in week one. Nothing too much to say. Some teams that we thought weren't going to be contenders anymore play like contenders. Some teams that we thought were going to take that step didn't take that step. Just a lot. But looking forward to week two. And, once we get around to week two and week three, we're going to see more of who's for real. Maybe week one was a fluke for some teams, but once the consistency starts, around week two to week three, we'll know more about every team. But for now, we're just watching. Just taking everything in. What were your thoughts, though?
Falcon, well, like I said, we look like the same exact team from last year. The first two drives gave me hope, and then after that, we just fell flat on our face, like the picture that of Matt Ryan that's circulating around the internet. It's I don't know, it's crazy. Like everybody kept saying, like obviously he should have had them play at least probably a few preseason snaps together, and I think a lot of people are right on that accord. Like you can't just go out there, Well, I think we had like 27 new faces, 27 new guys as a whole, like offensively and defensively, that either started or played. So it's like you just can't just be throwing people out there, especially the offense, no matter how long or how much longevity they've had together. You can't just do that. Like so he has new weapons. Mike Davis in the backfield, Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage is now the number 2 receiver. So you got to put him out there longer. You got to put him out there before the first snap of week one. But yeah, they just sucked, and I don't know if it's going to improve any this upcoming week. But overall, like you said, pretty much like you said, it's a lot of teams that were a lot more prepared than we thought. Like I know with the Cardinals, they were one of the surprise teams. They played extremely well. We know the Titans' defense hasn't really been good at all, but I didn't expect them to put up 38 points on them and then only hold the Titans' offense to 13. Then we're going to talk about our guy Jameis. He's even though he didn't throw for many yards, most of his touchdowns was within the red zone. He still played pretty well. Along with that defense, they played lights out as well. So I don't know, like you said, it was a lot of teams that surprised me in a good way and surprised me in a bad way. But it is week one. I know a lot of teams are still getting the kinks out. A lot of people have put COVID behind them, but that still was an issue for a lot of teams this all season anyway, whether it was a distraction or something that they got done and out of the way. But all in all, like I said, it's week one. Like I said, week 4 or 5 is when we start to see teams kind of come to their true form and perform the way they're supposed to perform the way the rest of the year. So, all in all, it was a good week one. I'm glad to see some teams, play better than what we expected them to play. And like I said, hopefully they keep that up. But I guess biggest winners, biggest losers for you. I guess if you got one or two each, go ahead and hit them off.
For me, my 2 biggest winners are the Saints and the Cardinals. Kind of the obvious, But the Saints, everybody wrote them off once they lost Drew Brees. But people forget that they brought pretty much their whole defense back, except for a couple of people, Jack Rabbit, Hendrickson, stuff like that. But they brought their whole offensive line back. AK, Michael Thomas, even though he's not playing right now, Harris. They lost Sanders, but they didn't use him as well as I thought they would. But the Saints were still a quality team, and I'm pretty sure that the locker room talk going in was, something similar to what I just said. Just talking about how everybody's writing them off and how everybody was just wrong about them, writing this team off just because of one person who was part of the reason they were held back in a way, by quarterback play. So it was good to see Jameis out there thriving, and they put a beat down on the Packers. They really did. The team that represented the NFC in the NFC Championship game the last 2 years, and it was never really close. I watched this game from beginning to end, and they dominated in every aspect. So shout out to the Saints. And also the Cardinals. The Cardinals, everybody likes them. They have a lot of talent. But in that NFC West, everybody wrote them off. They were the fourth team in pretty much almost every division prediction that we saw out there, the one that I put out there. So, they wrote all that down as well, and they showed up to play. The offense looked good, but another thing, their defense looked really, really good. They had a lot of playmakers out there flying. I like Zayvon Collins and Isaiah Simmons in the middle. That's a
big time.
Yeah, that's a linebacker core with a lot of speed, and they're young too. Buda Baker, they lost Pat Pete, but they're playing. They didn't look like he was missed out there, to be honest, because they were going against Julio and AJ Brown. So honestly, if that was the case, they would have. If Pat Pete was missed, they would have been exposed. But maybe they have some cooked up back there that we don't know about. Yeah. They got your boy Marco Wilson back there. I know you may not like him that much because he cost y'all a game by throwing the shoe, but he's a pretty solid young player. But overall, those are my two biggest winners. Who are your two biggest winners? I'm going to do my losers after, though, for the most part.
Yeah, so we'll do the losers afterwards. But shout out to Kenneth. I might have to take that bet as well. I don't know how much you put on it, but I might have to take, because Kenneth be winning people some money. I haven't
see that,
especially in the golf space. I need to get on my bookie and get on it for sure. But Kenneth definitely be winning people some money. But they look like they were the real deal. But that NFC West, I know we're going to talk about it all year long. They look ridiculous. And I think who was it? I think it might have been Couch on Overreaction Monday said that all four teams are going to the playoffs. I don't know numerically if it's possible, but if it is something that does happen, that would be great. But for me, my winners, it's kind of honestly kind of piggybacking off of yours. So, well, besides, I'll say the Eagles. I'll be a little different, and I have to go against my squad. The Eagles, I think, are definitely winners. They came out of Week 1 division leaders, even though it is just Week 1, but they look great. Jalen Hurts looked like he was out, to prove a lot of people wrong. Even though it is against the Falcons defense, I want everybody to remember that Falcons defense that is god awful, terrible. We can't get any type of pressure. We have a bunch of new DBs, but he looked poised in the pocket collapsed. He used his legs. It was times when we say he found the open guy, found open receivers. Last year he had pretty much everybody hurt. I forgot who his leading receiver was last year. I think it was JJ Garcia or something like that, whatever his name was. He might have been the number one receiver last year, but this year he has Devontae Smith. Rager looks a little bit better. Of course, he got Zach Ertz and Goddard too. So the receiving core looked a lot better. He looked really, really good. Like I said, he looked like a quarterback one, at least for the most part, against our Falcons defense. Put up 32 points. I think, definitely were surprised. I think most people, even us too, may have picked them to only win maybe 4 or 5 games. But in that NFC East, it was really wide open. We've seen how the Giants played. Danny Dimes still a turnover machine. The defense didn't look much better. Washington, another year with another quarterback problem. Dak looked great in Dallas, but of course they took the loss to the defending Super Bowl champs. And outside the offense, the defense could be shaky as well. So for the Eagles, that division is wide open, and who knows? Like I said, they could be there right at the end of the year, possibly taking the title home for the NFC East champions. But outside of them, I will say the Saints as well. I didn't think it would be too much of a drop, like you said, with Winston coming into the folds now. I think that's really what they was missing, somebody at the quarterback play, somebody that could throw the deep ball. All he really needed was coaching and cut down the turnovers. Other than that, Jameis has been he's a solid quarterback. He has all the tools necessary to lead a team to success, and it looks like that's exactly where they can be headed in a NFC South that we thought was going to be wide open, but it could still be Saints and Tampa Bay 1 and 2. But those are my 2 winners. What about your losers for this Week 1?
I'm not gonna give 2 teams for that one. I'm gonna just stick with one. People might disagree. I'm going with the Colts. coming into the season, I know they had a tough week 1 matchup, but coming into the season, they had all these expectations, and I was just a tad bit disappointed in what I saw. And their strongest unit, which is their offensive line, in a way, they didn't get dominated, but from what I saw when I watched the game, the young Seahawks D line, they gave them a small bit of problems, not too much, but they didn't dominate the trenches like I thought they would. And it's sometimes the young defensive line of the Seahawks gave them fits. So I was a little disappointed in that. Couldn't get the running game going as much as I thought they would with the two-headed monster they have. Carson Wentz looked okay, but I just expected them to give the Seahawks more problems.
Yeah.
They have a solid D line as well, and the Seahawks O line is a problem, but I just feel like they kind of got dominated. It wasn't a blowout, but I just never felt at any point when watching this game they were going to win. So for me, my biggest losers are the Colts. I would have put the Giants in there, but I was one of the few people that really had expectations for them. So
yeah. I don't think as long as Danny Downs is their quarterback, then they're really going anywhere. To be honest, like I said, the defense can keep you in so many games, but eventually you're gonna have to score points. But I don't know. This one's tough. Obviously, I don't want to go with the easy answer. Everybody's been saying Green Bay, and after we talk about this, I do want to kind of get your thoughts on his press conference and then some of the things I know I heard Mo say on Overreaction Monday as well, but I don't want to go with the easy answer. They were disappointing. They only put up 3 points. You're the back-to-back NFC. Went to the back-to-back NFC championships. It's supposed to be your last dance, your last ride. We're supposed to expect a lot out of y'all, but to only put up 3 points is a little yikes. But honestly, I think I want to say my loser, and it hurts me to say it, and I don't think it might not be the right answer looking back at it later on, but I'm going to have to say not even the Ravens. It's really going to be Lamar. Like, just the way he finished out that game, honestly, both teams, they finished out the game really weird. Like, so the Raiders had many chances to win, didn't win. I think the Ravens had a lot of chances to put the game away, but unfortunately with his costly turnovers, just being a little careless with the ball, we see kind of how he holds it, same way. Similar to Vic when he first got into the league as well, kind of a little careless with it, trying to elude and evade tackles and just kind of leaves it out there. I think that one was on him. He knows it's on him. Even with all the injuries and everything, they were in prime position to win that game, many times. I think, unfortunately, because of his costly turnovers, I won't even say the Ravens are losers. I really feel like him. I know he knows he has to be better. I know he put it on his shoulders, and he talked about it and tweeted about it after the game, but you just can't let that one slip away because in that division, it's going to be tough. Like, you can't be losing certain games like that you're supposed to be winning because the Browns looked very, very serious, even though they gave up a win to the Kansas City Chiefs as well. They let them come back. Steelers obviously saw what they can do, even with the Big Ben, the potato still quarterbacking. They still been all right. They were able to come back and win the game against the Buffalo Bills that a lot of people have picked to win the AFC. So you just can't let games like that slip between the cracks because at the end of the year, it may come to bite you in the butt. Like I said, the AFC has gotten a lot better. That division has gotten a lot better, so you can't let certain games like that slip away. And that one's, I think, on Lamar's shoulder. So I think he's a loser for sure. There's a bunch of losers that happened. A bunch of losers. I think Tennessee Titans were a loser as well. So much talk about their offense, and you only put up 13 points. And then defense, no improvement at all. We kind of already knew that. But you can't talk a big game. Feel like you got 2 possibly top 10, top 15 receivers, top 3 running back. Tannehill, that's a very capable quarterback. I know a lot of people saying he's top 10. I don't believe so, but they're saying he's top 10. So you can't go in with all those offensive weapons, feeling like you're high and mighty, still didn't address the defensive side of the ball, and then only put up 13 points and get smacked by the Cardinals. So if I had to choose 2 losers, those would be my 2 losers for the week for sure. But like I said, we're going to kind of mix things in for everybody that's watching. We're going to mix in a little bit of NFL, a little bit of college football because we got to. It's like I say, our favorite time of the year. But I had to put this picture up because my Gators played Crimson Tide this week. Probably the most important game of the week. I know there's a lot of other good games that's going to be happening this week that we'll talk about and get into as well. But before we get into those, college football week 3, Gators versus Crimson Tide. What's your preview on it, Thad?
I think
Be
only
nice.
because no. Yeah, I'll be a little nice. I give the Gators a slight chance because it's early in the season. Bama, maybe they're not. Even though they look like they're in midseason form, they might have some slip ups here and there. And because the game's in the swamp, and because the Gators are solid, the quarterback situation is tricky. But I think Bama. My final prediction would be Florida keeping it close because of the atmosphere, the environment. But Bama pulling away late, somewhere midway in the fourth quarter. I say winning by 17-21. But I think the quarterback play is going to be key. Richardson's came in, looked really good. Like last week, he was 3 for 3 with 2 TDs. Then had an 80-yard run. It's like, and then Emory Jones is struggling with South Florida. He struggled with FAU too. So it's tough. Is he gonna run a 2 quarterback system? Which I think he will because it's kind of hard. Like soon as Richardson comes on the field, he has explosive plays. He hasn't turned the ball over, so it's kind of tough. And he's a young redshirt freshman, if I'm not mistaken. So it's gonna be hard for Dan Mullen not to mix him in there. But Bama, Bryce Young, the young quarterback, looks good. They got Mechie, Robinson back there. I think they're solid. A lot of good players. I know they had some injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but Alabama's a factory. They have a little young true freshman 5-star waiting.
For sure.
Yeah, to come take that spot might be even better than the guy playing. So. It's gonna be a decent game. 3:30 kickoff. I'm gonna be tuned in, but I don't expect too much. Florida could win, but Bama is Bama. Nick Saban's gonna have them ready to play. They played in these games. They're playing them every year. They start the season with a big game, end the season with a big game. Have all the primetime kickoffs when they play a solid team. So they're used to these 3:30 games, and they're used to the heat. So I think that they're gonna be ready to play and come out. So my final prediction is going to be. It's going to be a little higher scoring, too, than you would think. But I'm going with Bama 45, Florida 28.
I guess higher scoring for Bama side of things. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I can see that as well. I'm hoping, like I said, of course, being a Gators fan, hoping it's a little closer than that. But I think it's going to definitely be offensive powerhouse. Bryce Young and them boys, like I said, they just rework receivers, backs in each and every year. Even though I think what they had one returning back from last year, and then another 5-star that came in. But their receiving core, Bryce Young, everybody's just amazing over there. They just keep pumping them out. The defense, they said, is probably what best defense Nick Saban has ever had. So I do expect them to make it really, really tough on my Gators offense. But I do think they're still capable of putting up points as well, except with the 2-quarterback system. Richardson has looked really, really good. I think he got hurt on that run. I think he's going to be okay for this upcoming week, though. I think it was just a cramp. At first, it scared me. I thought it was his
hamstring,
quad or hamstring. Yeah, because he was reaching you reaching for a specific spot where you think that's a hamstring. But I think he's gonna be all right. I think it was just cramps. But that is the one thing that does concern me about our squad outside of the defense. That last few years they haven't been the greatest. But this year, the first 2 matches, even though they're against they're against UCF and FAU, they played solid for the most part of the game. Offensively, like I said, the 2-quarterback system kind of scares me, especially us starting off with Emory Jones. Say that defense rattles him a little bit. He has 1 or 2 costly turnovers, whether it's a fumble or a pick, that can change the tide and change the momentum of the game quickly. With Alabama, there's not too many momentum shifts, and you can't really grab it back if you lose it. So that's the one thing that does kind of concern me, is how he's gonna, address that part of the game, especially on the offensive side. Like whether if Emory Jones has 1-2 bad mistakes, if he just goes to Richardson the whole way, or if he's just going to continue with the 1-2, combo with them. And that obviously messes with rhythm, like you've been saying. You always say, as a quarterback, it's never the recipe for success. So I don't know, like you said, rhythm wise, if he does go with one or the other, like kind of how it's going to play out. But all in all, I do expect a entertaining game at least. Like I said, hopefully we're just able to keep it close. I don't believe our college football playoff hopes will come to an end with this one. I'm hoping within the rest of the season in the mix, Georgia messes it up somehow, or even when we do play them at the end of the year, maybe we beat them. We beat them last year, I believe. So beat them for a second year in a row and make some type of noise, and just put a wrench into the college football playoff plans. Because I know right now everybody keeps thinking, oh, Georgia and Alabama, they're the two most dominant teams. They're going to meet in the SEC championship. And if it's close, both of the two teams are going to, advance. But still forgetting about a lot of other SEC schools that have a chance to, to be in that spot versus just Georgia. You say Alabama kind of, everybody's already pushing them there. But I think Florida, we have a good chance to at least keep the game close this weekend. And we have a good chance throughout the rest of the year with our schedule, which looks decently favorable until Georgia to possibly make some noise in college football playoffs. But I'm expecting a good game. Hopefully they give us a good game, and hopefully it's not a blowout, because that's just the one thing that will make me sad, because I'm pretty sure I'll be experiencing a blowout the very next day when my Falcons play against Tampa Bay. So, but any other games this weekend that you're kind of looking forward to watching in the college football space?
Not really. I'm definitely gonna watch Stony Brook in Oregon for my boy Khalil, and other than that, no. Besides the Auburn plays Penn State at night, so that's gonna be a whiteout in Happy Valley. For me, the takeaways in that game, Penn State, I think they're gonna be fine, but Kimbo Nix won a big road game. Because he hasn't won. I don't think he has. He might have won one, maybe.
I think it was one in his freshman year. Or one.
What do we count as a big road game? I'd say like winning at Florida, Georgia, LSU, Bama, which we know he hasn't done, something like that. But, can he win on the road? They have a nice little running back in Jaquez Hunter. Can they keep him going? And he's looked fine so far, but they haven't played any, top-notch competition. So can he win on the road? And that atmosphere is going to be crazy. I know he's played some SEC teams, but Happy Valley at night that might be a different breed. So can he handle that? And can Sean Clifford keep it going? They had a nice road win to start the season versus Wisconsin, and they're a tough defensive game. But that SEC football is different. But I think they're ready. James Franklin will have his team ready to play physical, and I think it's mainly because they're at home. It's early in the season. Like I said, early in the season, teams might not be in midseason form, so there might be big mistakes here and there. And I think Auburn just makes a couple more big mistakes than
Penn State.
So, those are the 3 games I'm going to watch. 2 games, really.
What about you think you give South Carolina any type of chance to stay in the game or upset Georgia? I think that's a 7:00 ESPN game as well.
No. They walked it off versus East Carolina last week. And East Carolina, they got smacked by App State, so I don't think so. In Georgia, you're thinking like, I know Stetson Bennett played last year, but UAB, people were like, UAB is solid. They might not going to win, but it's going to be a close game, and they just blew them out like it wasn't even close. So, I give South Carolina no shot. I think they're sorry, honestly.
Do they still have – they don't still have that graduate assistant quarterback?
Yeah. He's actually from Georgia, too. He forgot what high school he went to, but he was like a year younger than us.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he won. He won the first week for him. I didn't know if he was still playing the second week. I guess.
Yeah, he's still in there. I don't know.
What's up?
I don't know. That's odd, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shout out to him though. He was about to start coaching, and he got an opportunity to play in the SEC. And he was just in North Dakota State too, like behind Trey Lance. So.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I'm just hoping. Like I say, I'm a Georgia hater, so I'm just hoping they keep it close. They do something to rattle them. But I know the game's kicked off already. I think they're about 15 minutes in.
Probably start second quarter almost.
Yeah, about 15 minutes in. But like I said, Thursday night football, Giants, Washington football team, NFC East showdown. What like I said, I know it's already started. I don't think a team scored yet, but what?
It's 7-0. Yeah,
7-0.
Yeah, Giants have the ball.
Okay. Who are you expecting to win this game? I guess before it kicked off, who are you expecting to win? What is the keys to victory?
Yeah, keys coming into the game. First off, I did think that the football team was going to win. But I think the keys to victory. Last week they showed that the Giants' offensive line is still liability. Andrew Thomas is not what they thought he was when they drafted him. Going against Von Miller and Bradley Chubb is a tough test. But they still weren't. They didn't look good in previous games, so them not looking any better is not gonna look good going against Montez Sweat and Chase Young, I say a top 3 rushing duo in the league. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, top 3, but
Yeah.
Can they do that? Can Daniel Jones not turn the ball over? Can they get Saquon more involved? I know they were just easing him into the mix, but he only had 10 touches, 11 total. So can they get him involved? But I
They
think
need to get him involved. On my fantasy team, like unwittingly on my fantasy team, somehow got drafted on my team.
Coming off of ACL, and then when they hadn't like cleared him, well, they had cleared him, but like they hadn't said he was active for week 1. Weeks ahead, I knew that it wasn't going to be, a 200-yard rush game out the jump. So
yeah,
for the Washington football team, can the defense get off the field this week? Last week against the Chargers, Justin Herbert ate them up on 3rd down, which is a big down. Rashawn Slater was a dog. I sent the video to Coach Couch. He gave Sweat and Chase Young hell all day. Like, I know he gave him hell at Northwestern, but it translated to the field. I guess that's Chase Young's demons from now. Rashawn Slater, but. Can they get off the field and on offense? Can Heineke fill the role? I know he looked good in his limited time, but with those weapons, Gibson, McLaurin, Samuel, Logan Thomas, you gotta produce. So the Giants defense, I know they're coached well by Joe Judge, and they have some players over there, but can offense produce points? And I know it's it might have started raining, but it's a little muggy game, so it should be low scoring. So even though it's 7-0, I still predict that football team is going to get it together and come back, and I say 24-20. A 21-24 victory.
Yeah, still close, still tight in the game. Shout out real quick to James. I know we just finished with that segment, but you got a feeling Florida might upset Bama. I'm gonna ride with you on that one. I'm hoping so. But
I wouldn't be too surprised. Just like I said last week, I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh beats Buffalo when that happens.
Yeah, and I'm saying it did happen, even though you didn't pick them.
We'll get into the pick later. But this week you'll see. This week I'm trusting
coming back. You coming back stronger. I don't even know the type of week you had.
I was under 500. I think I lost 8 or 9 games, bro.
It was a little bit more than that. I barely scratched the 500 mark. It was terrible. But like I said, Washington football team, Giants. Like I said, I was expecting to be a low scoring game. I'm thinking somewhere like say 2017. But typically when I think that it's a high scoring offensive affair. Only reason I feel because defensively, both teams. Well, it's kind of opposite. Giants have a great secondary. Their front seven's a little iffy. They've improved, gotten a little better. They got a few pieces here and there, but Washington front seven didn't look the greatest last week. I feel like they could take advantage of that weak Giants offensive line this week. I don't know. Giants have scored already, so I don't know what they're particularly doing. If they look better or not. But like I said, I think they should get together. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Davis. They have a good front seven. Their secondary can be taken advantage of a little bit. But then again, Danny Dimes, turnover machine. Don't really know if he's going to make the smart decision and best decisions throughout the entirety of the game. I feel like Washington can have him for a turnover or two. And if that's the case, if Danny Dimes has at least 2 turnovers, I think it's definitely Washington that's going to win the game. But for Washington on the opposite side of it, like you said, Heineke, he's looked great in the times that he's been thrown into the fire last week, last year in the playoffs. But can he said for a full game he's coming in starting, can he, lead that team offensively just in general? Like I said, they got a lot of great weapons on the offensive side. They got Gibson, McLaurin. Unfortunately, Samuels is out, but when he does come back, that's another offensive weapon. I like Diami Brown a lot. I saw him at North Carolina. I think he's a real good, capable receiver. They still got Adam Humphries, I believe. Logan Thomas. Like they got guys that can get him out of trouble, that can make it easier on him, and that he can throw the ball to. But will he? Like I said, I don't really know if he's. I guess he's a decent decision maker because they trust him. They trusted him last year. It's like they trust him this year to have been the backup quarterback to Fitzpatrick. So, but I think I picked Washington in this one to win as well. Hopefully they prove me wrong. I picked them last week and they failed me. So, or no, I didn't. I did pick them last week. Picked them last week and they failed me. So hopefully they make goods this time around tonight and beat their foe. Which I think they're very capable of doing. I think the defense should get together very, very soon. And Heineke, he has the weapons around him to be able to put some points on the board for that squad. So I'm about to pull it up on my phone. Actually, typically I'm using my phone as a camera, but I forgot I can watch the game right now. But all in all, like I said, I guess we talked about kind of keys to victory for both squads. What was I about to say? I had a question for you. Oh, I forgot. I bypassed it. It was really about Aaron Rodgers. But since we kind of talked about the keys of victory for both of these squads, I guess we can kind of talk about some of the key games that's coming up this week. Um, we'll do our pick. We'll save our pick'ems for last. So we'll just talk about some of the other key games that's coming up this week. And we'll look at Jeff's power rankings as well. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it or scan over it yet, but I'll give you a second to take a look at it. I think he changed up his categories this week. Last week, I don't think it was you never know. Last week it was something different, and then uneasy is different as well this week. But still, same thing. 1 to 32. I kind of like it this year how he separated out contenders. No worries, mate. Uneasy. You never know. I do think he's probably, or if not, has already taken a lot of heat for some of these teams and some of these positions, especially after some of them came off of wins. But I think some people have to understand how he does these. I would say go and listen to his show. Like I said, Jeff Needs Sports podcast. Just search that up on anywhere you get podcasts and just kind of listen to him. I think he did a show last night about it. But you say, yeah, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so kind of what did you think about the thoughts of, kind of where he got certain teams on this graphic?
The first graphic I do like. Seahawks, Chiefs, of course, at the top. Rams look well. The Bills didn't overreact after that one game. After that one bad game, Seahawks played well. I like that one. The Cardinals played well. The Browns should have won that game. I think he overreacted a little bit on the Cowboys, even though after a loss they should not be at 10.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders, even they would have lost that game if Lamar didn't turn the ball over and if they had all their backs. I know that's part of football, but they had so many injuries. Mm-hmm. The Eagles should be lower. They played the Falcons. The Falcons are a bottom 5 team, I think.
Dang.
Because they didn't get better in any phase. Like they didn't add people. They had the worst defense in the league, and they didn't add. Like I don't. We'll talk about that later, though. I need to be on one of your, what do you call it, your Falcons fly through, the thing you did last year.
Yeah. I skipped that on at this up. I was going to do it like 2 days ago. I was like,
you know what? I just need one for to be on one this season to talk about that. I think the pass should be higher. They played well. I mean, not even higher because there's so many good teams in the NFL. But the Colts are a big overreaction. They played the Seahawks, which is ranked number 6. And the Broncos. I think the Broncos are better than 25. But there's a lot of good teams. Other than that, they're all debatable, but it's not a bad list. But the bottom parts, the Jaguars look like the second worst team in the league. And I like the bottom part. The Falcons, Texans, Giants. I think the Giants should be a little higher than the Bears. Yeah, but not a bad list. My biggest problems are the Eagles at 19. The Cowboys at 10, the Raiders at 16, and the Colts at 24.
Damn, the Colts at 24. Oh, they are right there. Yeah, they are there. Yeah, I kind of second a lot of those. Like I said, that's what I was saying. I think you're probably gonna get heat for some of them if he hasn't already. Especially the Cowboys won at 10. Yeah, they look better. They played the defending champs. They had a chance to win the game. But I think. I don't know if I should credit more so of that to the Cowboys coming out and being prepared, or if I should credit that to the Bucs kind of maybe taking them a little light. Because like I said, when they turned it on. Like I said, it was a minute and 10 left. Brady got the ball right back, and they went straight through that defense. It's like that's been their issue. Now they're Falcon University. They got both of our safeties. They got our old head coach. If that's who you're counting on to improve your defense, I don't know if that's gonna really cut it. Except Michael Parsons. I guess it's a tough first matchup to have to play the defending Super Bowl champs, the secondary safety, they let Antonio Brown go off. So I don't know. The defense to me still has a long way to go to improve offensively. I feel like him throwing him in the 10th spot might have been just how great Dak looked. And how well he was able to, facilitate that offense and get them to where they need to be. Because all in all, if you thinking about it, Amari Cooper and him had big games, and CD had a decent game as well, but no one else really did that much. I think offensive lines, or I mean, they were missing some guys for obviously Zach Martin, believe COVID, and then their other guy, I forgot, he's gonna be out suspended for the next 4 games.
Yeah, Lyle Collins.
Yeah, Lyle Collins. So I mean, Zeke, they shut him down pretty much. They had no running game. Like I said, they still were able to get decent pressure on Dak, but Dak, like I said, just played well. So I think that's kind of why they're at, because I don't really see why specifically they'd be at 10 other than they played the Super Bowl champs close and Dak had a good game. Like I wouldn't put him in front of them. Even though, like I say, the way he does it is not really by game to game, week to week. It's kind of, a little bit more put into it. I think it's more so almost like how he does the college ones. It's like who controls their own destiny, like who looks primed to win like the division, who looks primed to be in the playoffs. Like I think he kind of does these the same as he does the college ones. But yeah, Cowboys a little too high for me. I think the Colts could be a little higher as well. The Broncos, I don't know. Broncos at 25. I understand it. I think Teddy surprised me a little bit. Maybe we should go and say, I forgot even to talk about this. Teddy surprised me a little bit just by how, I don't know how calm, like we kind of know what to expect from him. He's a game manager, but he looked calm. He made a lot of key throws. They just looked, like I said, and their defense is stout. We already know what we're going to get from defense. So they look great. I don't know about at 25 though. Like there's a few teams in front of them that I don't think are better. Like the Panthers at 21 is a little high for me. Bengals as well. Like they still had a lot of issues, but Joe Burrow just played really good as well. I don't know. All like you said, it's a decent list. I think I agree right now. The only one I think I agree with is I'm not picking and poking at certain ones is the contenders. I think all those teams played either up to expectation or exceeded expectations in a lot of ways. And
except for the Bills.
Yeah, I was about to say, except for the Bills. They that red blended in with the other two reds, Buccaneers and 49ers. But yeah, the Bills definitely disappointed me a little bit, especially that second half. Like that was just it just wasn't good. Offensively, they couldn't get anything going. Defensively, they couldn't stop the nosebleed. So yeah, they definitely didn't play up to expectation, but I think he has them there still because I don't think he's worried about them, especially in the AFC East that had a lot of other moving parts. I know the Dolphins are probably the biggest threat to them at the moment, but I think, like I said, I guess he feels like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and them will get things together. But personally, to me, I don't know. A lot of people still ignore the fact that they don't really have a running game. I think that's still going to be important. Like at some point, like you can't just go 2-3 years without having any type of running game. Like they feel like they're like it's fine because they have Josh Allen, he runs the ball or he gets the ball to his playmakers, the receivers, Stephon Diggs, and everybody. Like eventually you're gonna have to run the ball, and I feel like that was the reason why they didn't get as far as they should have last year in the playoffs, even though they did get to the AFC Championship game. But I think that's gonna be the catalyst for them if they don't improve defensively in that front seven, which I think they got decent players. It's just I don't know, they're not playing up to par. And if they can't run the ball, I feel like it's gonna be issues for them. But I don't know. Maybe people know things that I don't know. But other than that, I think, yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with everything else. My Falcons at 27 does hurt, but, they really probably should be lower. Like, I'd put him at 30. I'd put him at like 30 or something like that because it is ridiculous the way they play. Like,
and then the Eagles coming into the season, everybody had them as like a bottom 5 or 10 team. And the way they beat y'all, y'all had Hurts. Y'all got people saying Hurts is a franchise quarterback now after 1 week, so it's not too good.
Yeah, I was like, who they play? Well, I guess that's the next thing we're finna get into. Like I said, I guess before we do our pick'ems, we kind of look at each team and maybe just dissect the games that we're looking forward to, and kind of talk about them a little bit. I'll get back to that graphic in a second, but you can see this all right?
Yeah, I can see everything is fine.
All right, let me see. Who they even play this week?
Who, the Falcons or the Eagles?
No, I know who we play.
Eagles got the 49ers. I remember that.
Okay, yeah. Guess we could talk about that one first. So like I said, you said we made him look like a franchise quarterback. A lot of people are saying he looked really good, which he did. What do you think? What should you expect?
Part though?
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, he looked like a capable quarterback on against our defense. But what do you think he's going to do against the 49ers?
it all depends on the offensive line. Last week, like I said, it was the Falcons. The offensive line, when healthy, was good, especially back in the day. Well, not back in the day, about 3-4 years ago. But it's the Falcons. They're going against Bosa and I always get them mixed up. It's not Armstead. Yeah, it is Armstead. It's Armstead because Buckner plays for the Colts. But Armstead and him and D Ford, can they get home? And Kinlaw, can they get home to the quarterback? That's the key. Can they get the run game going like they did with Miles Sanders? And, as much as we talk about Justin Jefferson, I know Rhea was hurt to start the season. He came on a little bit towards the end. He had a good camp, so hopefully he can, put all that noise to bed about him being a bust. Well, not a bust, but just all the talk about Justin Jefferson. And he's looked well in camp and looked well last week. So can they get them going against the 49ers to beat up secondary? But I don't think he'll have the best of the game. I think it'll be a come down to earth type thing. That's my opinion, though. But they're not going to win, and he's not going to have the same numbers. But I'd like to see him do well. But I don't think it'll be the same. The defensive scheme, defensive players he's going against this week are not the same he was last week.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, like I said, we really have nobody that can rush the passer and put any pressure. And when we did put pressure on, we continued to miss tackles. But I don't think the 49ers are going to be missing tackles at all this upcoming week. Like I said, if the front four get to him and create some pressure and miss a tackle, Fred Warner's right there waiting for him. It's other guys right there waiting for him that we just don't have. So they're playing at home. Yeah, they're playing at home. I don't know. I think that defense is definitely a different animal. Offensively, too, they have to worry about Garoppolo and they have to worry about Trey Lance. They're, I guess, running a little bit of a 2-quarterback system as well. So they'll have to worry about Lance's legs a little bit, Garoppolo's decision-making. I think Ayuk should be playing a little bit more this week. I don't know what the hell was going on last week. They benched him or if he was hurt or whatever the case may be. But they'll have more weapons probably to consider and think about. The offensive scheme, even though similar, I think Shanahan definitely runs it a lot better. He's going to go with the hot hand. And they're going to find some type of offensive success, whether it's early or whether it's late. So, I don't know. Philadelphia, just defense did, like I said, they got better. I know they got healthier. They got guys back. But they still, last week, first 2 drives, we were able to move the ball on them with ease. The only difference is other teams are going to be able to score touchdowns while we settle for field goals. And other teams are not going to go away from what works. Rather, with us, we go away from what works all the time. So, like you said, I think it'll be a coming down earth game for him as well. And just Philadelphia as a whole. I know they're high on beating us 32-6, but I don't think that's going to happen this week against the San Francisco 49ers whatsoever. What other games you looking forward to real quick before we go through our pick'ems? For
me, I'm going to start from the bottom. Kansas City and Baltimore looks like a good game on paper, but we know the Chiefs come out on top. They've had good games in the past besides last season. Mm-hmm. Dallas and the Chargers, because the Cowboys are name brand, I'm probably going to tune in. They have a lot of exciting names, and I want to see how they fare versus Herbert bouncing back. And the last 2 games for me, I had them circled. No, 3 actually. Seattle, Tennessee. I think Tennessee will bounce back. They might win. I could see them winning potentially. I don't know. I doubt it, but that's a good game. And the last 2 I had on there were, okay. The Rams and the Colts. That'll be another good game. The Colts have 2 hell games back to back, and Buffalo and Miami, 2 good teams. So. Those are the 5 games I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm looking forward. I'll tune into every game a little bit here and there, especially during halftime of the Jags game. But those are the 5 I'll be tuning in more than the others for sure.
Yeah. Those last 2 are definitely ones I was going to say. I know Buffalo's looking for a bounce back game. Miami looked okay last week. Just barely scooped away with the win. But like I said, outside of that, I think the Rams-Colts one should be a pretty good one, be a defensive battle of a game, even though, like I said, the Rams offense looks legit, especially with Stafford back there, quarterback now. So, like I said, Colts defense definitely has a test, but I think that they're, up for the challenge. Like I said, they have a pretty good defense as well. Carson Wentz didn't look bad last week either, but they definitely have to produce a little bit more offensively especially their receivers. I think Pascal is the only one that really did anything for them. I don't think anybody else really got into the mix. I know Pittman didn't. Obviously, Ty is still out, so they have to definitely find a little bit more success offensively, and they're not going to really be able to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. At least not down their throat. They may have a little bit of success here and there, but they're not going to be able to just run all over them. And even that's a little questionable because I got to figure out if I'm even going to start him or not.
I do want to see Quentin Nelson versus Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Because that's one of the guys you got. Oh, that's why I forgot to put on the graphic. But that's one of the guys you got as another All-Pro again this year. But outside of that, I want to see this divisional matchup. I know most probably not going to be interested in it, but to me, it's going to tell me, even though last week kind of showed us where we are as a team, my Falcons, which is not good at all, but it's going to tell me this New Orleans Carolina team is going to kind of tell me like, all right, are we third, fourth, or can we possibly be somewhere in that second tier? Like right now, obviously New Orleans, I think is the second best team in our division. How well Carolina plays them, because I feel like my Falcons aren't too far off from Carolina. Like I think I'm really overreacting. I think this week should be a better showing. We always play Tampa Bay close. Even last year we played them close. It's just that eventually we just get blown out, whether it's into the third, fourth quarter. But I think this New Orleans Carolina matchup is really going to tell me kind of where we are. I think I'm still picking New Orleans to win that one, but it'll be interesting just to see that in division matchup. And then, like you said, Tennessee, Seattle. Tennessee definitely has to bounce back, especially offensively. Seattle's offense looks great, but they always look great at the beginning of the year. They always look good at the beginning of the seasons, and then they kind of fall off somewhere in the middle. Like something happens. Like I don't know what it is specifically. Like last year, it was like them just letting Russ cook, and he just started to turn the ball over. I think it was coming off the bye when they played the Bills, but it's going to be a good game. Offensive, powerhouse teams. I don't really know if I can say that about Seattle, but they just always look good offensively, especially at the beginning of the years. But I don't know. It's definitely going to be a defensive battle for Tennessee. Will their defense improve? Will it not? I don't think it will. I think I'm taking Seattle on that one, but it'll be interesting to watch. And I just want to see Julio in the Tennessee jersey. I didn't get to see them play last week. I didn't pay attention too much to him, so definitely want to look and see. Especially after what Variable said about him, I didn't even realize he had some type of costly penalty. So definitely want to see kind of how he responds. Yeah. Did you see it? I didn't even see the penalty. Like, what happened?
I didn't even look into it because when he said costly, I was going back and forth to that game a good bit. And I don't think it was ever, unless that penalty was in the first quarter or early in the second. I don't think it was that costly because the Cardinals had that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they was destroying them every time I kept looking at the score. It wasn't even really close.
I think they got it down to 10 points once in the third quarter, but other than that, no.
Yeah, but I guess I just kind of want to see how he responds. Like he has some strong choice words for him. So, but yeah, those are the main ones I'm looking forward to. That Monday night game, I mean, I guess we gotta give Detroit a little bit of credit. They did come back against the 49ers almost 2 minutes. They almost won the game. It was close.
Yeah,
it got real close, but I think Green Bay they'll wake up, and this one should definitely be at least a 2-touchdown win by them. But real quick, I guess kind of to end off the show before we go into maybe some more, just the closing thoughts or whatever. Our NFL pick'ems. I guess let me go back. We are definitely keeping up with this week to week. I think.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think we can check real quick. I'm pretty sure I counted right.
You did.
I think, yeah, because I think there was 3 games that we had that was different. And I think those 3 games is the ones I ended up winning that were different. But like I said, I can go back and recount it again. But
yeah, but we might
this is looking like the overall from what I remember. Let me see. Let me go back. I got the pictures right here. All right, you picked the Bucs. So your 5 wins that I counted were the Bucs, Kansas City, the Rams, the Panthers, San Francisco, and that was it. Because you picked Baltimore that lost, the Giants lost, Patriots lost, Washington lost, my Falcons lost, the Bills lost, the Vikings lost, your Jaguars lost, Tennessee lost, and Green Bay lost.
Nah, you're right, bro. This was a terrible week. I was thinking, it's funny though, I was thinking about this like during the 4 o'clock games. I was like, I got a lot of these games wrong.
Yeah, I really forgot about it. I was like, I hope I picked a good amount of teams that won. Because, like, I was looking at some of the final scores. I'm just like, I feel like I picked them, but I couldn't really remember. Because there was, like, some that was, like, on the ropes. I couldn't remember which way I went with the Vikings and Bengals. I couldn't remember which way I went with the Chargers and Washington. I couldn't remember which way I went with the Dolphins and the Patriots. I was like, I got to be somewhere close, like somewhere on the verge. But yeah, I would say it definitely was a first rough week. But I think it was a first rough week for a lot of people. Like I've seen some other people like pick'ems and stuff. They were like 7-9, 6-10. Like it wasn't that great. But for me, my wins was Bucs, Kansas City, Rams, Broncos, Miami. I think those are the ones that were different. Miami, Seattle, and the Broncos are the ones I picked that you didn't pick.
Yeah.
Which made
I think you probably picked Seattle too, or you picked the Colts.
Yeah, I picked Seattle. You picked the Colts. And then of course my Falcons lost. I picked Carolina. I picked San Francisco. So 8-8. I'm doing all right for myself right now. I still gotta ask Twitter, Instagram, TikTok somewhere. I asked for some like little punishment or something that we're gonna have to end up doing at the end of the year. No, I know eventually you'll come back and make it a little bit closer than it is now, but definitely being down 3 games.
We're gonna pass you up sooner or later.
I don't know about it. Maybe this upcoming week. It's a lot of iffy games I'm iffy about. So maybe you'll come back this upcoming week. But let's go ahead and submit these pick'ems. I'll let you go first.
Okay, we don't have the same order. That's the problem. Okay, I wrote them down. Just trying to make sure. Okay, for week 2, we have the football team.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Patriots. I think they're going to bounce back versus the Jets. I hate to say it, man, but for the pick'ems, I want the Jaguars to win, but I'm going with the Broncos.
Okay.
I have the Bills bouncing back. I have the 49ers. And I have the Colts going 0-2 versus the NFC West. So I have the Rams. I have Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah, that one's at home. Okay, yeah.
This one's a tough one for me. Is Cincinnati real? It's like, does Justin Fields play next week? But for the sake of like that, if they lose this game, does Justin Fields play week 3? And I think they have an easy game versus like Detroit. So I'm going. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I think Chicago is a playoff team, but they were last year, and their defense will pressure Joe Burrow. So I got Chicago. Next week, of course, I have Cleveland, Carolina versus New Orleans. This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I have Arizona, Tampa Bay. Yeah, that was easy. Didn't have to think about that one. Seattle and Tennessee is tough because I said last week when I said the Steelers might win, they did. I could see Tennessee going up there to win in Seattle, but that defense is trash right now. It's early in the season, so Russ is going to be cooking, so I'm going with Seattle. LA Chargers, it's going to be a fun game, but the Chargers are going to beat the Cowboys, of course. I have Kansas City in the last game. We don't even need to talk about Aaron Rodgers. They just lost 38-3. This one, I don't even know why this game is Monday night, but yeah, those are my picks for week 2. What you got?
Yeah, I don't know why that one's Monday night either, but you had already picked the one for the night, right? You said you was going Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
Yeah, I'm going Washington as well. New England for sure. Gotta go with Denver too. Even though Jacksonville's at home, I don't know. They could surprise us. I'm gonna go Denver.
We'll see. For the pick'em,
yeah, just to be safe for the pick'ems, I'm gonna go Denver too. Buffalo at Miami. This is gonna be a tough one. Only reason I'm going Buffalo is because the way they lost against Pittsburgh. I really want to go Miami though, but I'm gonna go Buffalo. San Francisco for sure. Rams for sure. Vegas, they're gonna have to win one more. They're gonna have to prove me wrong. They're gonna have to win one more for me. I think Pittsburgh. I think the defense wins them this game somehow. So I'll go with Pittsburgh. Chicago. Yeah. I think Chicago. no matter if Andy Dalton or Justin Fields play. But I think Justin Fields will have a few snaps for sure. Cleveland, New Orleans. I think it's going to be like I said, it was one of the picks.
Yeah, that's a toss up.
That's going to be a good game though. Yeah, you went with New Orleans too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we're not too similar.
We might be.
I think we're exactly the same right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll change.
I would say it might change in a second. New Orleans. Yeah. Arizona. Yeah, they played great. I'm gonna go with them. I want to go my Falcons, but can't do that. Can't do that to the Pick'ems. Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go Seattle. I'm gonna go. Did you pick Dallas or the Chargers?
Chargers.
I'm gonna go Dallas. Think they'll win this one. I can see them winning this one for sure. Even though they'll be out Collins, but I think Martin comes back. I'll go Dallas. Gotta go Boston. Oh, not Boston. My fault. Gotta go Kansas City.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Gotta go Kansas City. Gotta go Green Bay. I think we're only one different right now. Let me go back. I gotta be a little different right now.
I mean, it's our picks, and at the end of the day, we have 17 weeks, so we're gonna differ.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna be.
But I do want to do one little thing, not this week, but starting next week to get a little more credit. So when I say this, I have to make a decision, but like for these couple of games, I think that Cincinnati, I picked Chicago, but I think Cincinnati's going to beat them, and I think Tennessee's going to beat Seattle. I'm just putting that out there, so when it potentially happens, I give my little bit of credit for it. And I think Miami, and I think Miami will beat Buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the one I want to change, but I think I'm gonna stick with Buffalo.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, we gotta wait till like after week 2 or week 3 to see who's real and who's pretenders. Like the Saints blew out the Packers last week. They could lose to Carolina by 20. Like you just don't know.
Exactly, you're right. But for the pick'ems, we're gonna submit them this week. I think that's who I'm gonna go with. I think the only one, like I said, we got a little bit of a difference on is Dallas right now. I'll let you know if I change my Miami Buffalo pick at all. But I think I'll stay put because it's the first thing I said. They always say go with your first answer choice. So that's what I'm gonna go with. But real quick, that does it for today's show. Guess any closing arguments, I guess I don't know if we want to close it out with this, but we want to close it out with just Aaron Rodgers, the things that he said and what Mo said about him on Monday as well on Overreaction Monday. Which I don't know if you watched it or not, but he was kind of dogging him for the way that he addressed the press conference and kind of was being a little too cool for school versus like other guys like would take that one on the chin and be a little upset. And then he went against his coach, of course, saying like, he wouldn't go as far as to say is I don't know if he said they were terrible or whatever he said. He said he won't go as far as say as that, but they're okay. So what do you think about what Aaron Rodgers said?
He's a different personality. He rubs some people the wrong way. I even heard that he's not cool with some of his family members, so he's just different. And he rubbed Mo the wrong way. It's just him being nonchalant. Some people don't like that from their franchise quarterback, but it is what it is. You can't really control who he is and what he does, but that's him. I don't take too much from it. You would like to see him be a little more aggravated, but he just – hey, maybe he's acting like this because he wants to be out, once the season's over. That was the thought in my head, like, is he point shaving potentially? But I was like, it took me like 10 seconds to be like, nah, he wouldn't do that. He has too much respect for the game. But I can understand why some people didn't like the nonchalant attitude he had, but I didn't really have too much of a problem with it. And it's Aaron Rodgers, so he's gonna be a little extra. He's definitely a diva, and he likes attention, so he knew what this was going to bring. But I don't have too much of a problem with it. When they smack Detroit next week, I think we'll all forget about it.
Yeah, I think so as well. Because like I said, they're definitely winning that one. If they do lose that one, though, they're going to be headlines all over ESPN and every other sports outlet out there. But yeah, I don't know. I can see why a lot of people were kind of rubbed the wrong way by his nonchalantness. But we've seen that, like, the one thing I guess that doesn't mind me about it, because, like, we've seen it time and time again. Like, that's just how he is. It's like, I could understand, I guess, like, if it was kind of like a little bit of a switch up, like he's always been like maybe a Tom Brady personality, but then, like, all of a sudden, like, because it's his last year, his last ride, the last dance. Like he's just kind of like it's whatever now. Like a lot of people saying he don't like football, he don't want to play football no more. Like I don't think that's the case. I just think, like you said, that's kind of just him and his personality, which a lot of people may not like, may not agree with, may feel like he needs to have a little bit of, you know, I don't know, not a chip on shoulder, but just a little bit of an edge to him now, like because you put so much. Basically, you caused so much kind of like disturbance throughout the offseason about whether you're going to come back and play, whether you're going to retire, you know, just create this whole big hoopla, and then you go out there and then don't even, like I said, don't produce, don't get an offensive touchdown, throw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. I guess they feel like you can't do that. Like you said too, just kind of how he is. And to me, it's a little funny. Like I said, I don't know if it's remnants of, I don't remember what year it was. I don't know if it was 14, 15, 16, whatever year he kind of just, the relax comments came about, and then they went on a big run, and then, you know, I think went to the the NFC Championship, I believe. Was that 2016?
Yeah, I think that was 14. I actually
14?
think that was 14.
14? Okay.
Yeah, because I remember that they ended up winning out.
Yeah. They end up winning out, and then, like I said, going decently far in the playoffs. So I don't know. It's just funny, but I can, like I said, I understand the sentiments everybody's saying. Like he needs to, you know, he can't, like I said, just basically you can't do that. That's not what you expect out of a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's not what you expect out of your franchise quarterback. But I don't know. Like I said, I guess for him it is what it is. I do think he has to, from here on out, perform extremely better. But you know, what better place to start with than Detroit, who everyone feels is one of the worst teams in the league. So definitely has a bounce back day coming on Monday, and hopefully, like I said, once they win or whatever happens, everybody pretty much will forget about it. But that does it for today's show, man. Anything else we missed? Anything else we should hit on? Any other thoughts or, you know, what's the score? What's the score now? Are we about to go down 0-1?
No, it's good. It's all tied up 7-7. But you know, we'll have a show for you guys next week, recapping week 2, talking about the college football action. Hopefully, when the Gators get beat down, and I'm just looking forward to another exciting week of football. It was a lot of surprising games and some good games to close it out, like the Chiefs-Browns game and the Monday Night Football game to close week 1 out. So just an exciting week 1. Glad that football's back Thursday through Sunday. So ready to just, you know, come back at it next week. Hopefully with the Jaguars getting a dub too. So
yeah, hopefully a little bit more. Yeah. Real quick points. Hopefully we're both like, I don't think I'm gonna be energized unless it's looking like both my teams might take L's, but hopefully one of them either plays. Like if the Falcons play really, really good and still lose a game, we lose by like 3 or 7, but we look better offensively and defensively, I'll be fine with that. Same thing with my Gators. So hopefully we come with a little bit more energy, a little more spunk. Hopefully maybe be able to do it on maybe Monday as well. I know I'm pretty open on Mondays, or say Mondays is Monday Night Football. Regardless, we'll probably try to do it before Monday or Tuesday, whatever day. Even if it's Thursday, then we'll definitely get it done. But like that says, football season, we're coming back each and every week, recapping, giving our thoughts. Hopefully this week and this year with a little bit more wins from both of our squads. I did take it easy on you today because I forgot we didn't talk about FSU and that loss, but I'll let that one slide by. So hopefully if something happens with my Gators, we'll have to let it slide by next week as well. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for commenting. Shout out to our sponsors again, my bookie and Ice Shakers. Definitely go check out their website. Use promo codes off the ball on both of those sites if you want to win big with us and get some discounts for sure. So appreciate everybody. Shout out to everybody on Off the Ball Network. Shout out to the Washington football guys too. Hopefully you got your squad brings us a W for shout out to them.
Shout out to Off the Ball, but sorry Prez, sorry Bars. Hopefully the Giants lose, and sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, Cruz and Coach Couch. Hopefully both teams stay in the top. I don't wish success on anybody's team from Off the Ball Network as long as the Jaguars aren't winning. So there's that.
That's true. It's crazy that everybody's besides really us two is NFC East fans. Like what are the odds? Like there's no fans really of any other team. I think there's one other person.
I mean, I got Stu.
Yeah, I forgot. There's Stu. He's
I got
Colts.
two NFC South people.
Yeah.
No.
There's
Stu,
nobody.
Walker, and Jay.
Yeah, that's what I say. Them three. Or them three. And then somebody's a San Francisco 49ers fan. Say it out loud.
I don't wish success on anybody's team. Nobody.
Yeah, hopefully success and more blessings and more life to Falcons and the Falcons fans as well. Because I know we went through it last week. This week we're gonna go through it again. Matt Ryan's gonna go through it again, but hopefully week 3 things are looking up by then. I think we have a tough first 4 games though, so it's not going. This first 4 weeks is definitely gonna have me ready for basketball season soon. But like I said, that does it for us today. We'll see y'all next week. Hope everybody stay safe and have a good one.
Be